see what the headlines are. Really disturbing and very interesting one, depending on how you want to see it. I have with me in the studio public affairs analyst Matt Okpejoye, as well as lawyer and public affairs analyst Jide Ologun. Gentlemen, nice to see you both in the studio.
Good morning, Mike.
Nice to see you.
And how are you?
Right. Let's begin with the Vanguard newspaper. And it says, State of the Nation, insecurity worsening under Buhari. Jonathan Anyaoku are saying this. Save Nigeria from the brink. Anyaoku tells Buhari at National Assembly. Declare a state of emergency on security now. PDP tells Buhari. And gunmen abduct Zamfara budget director, kill deputy. Troubling. Those criticizing me are unpatriotic. That's a statement credited to the President Buhari there. All right, moving on from the Vanguard newspaper, let's go to the Guardian now. Guardian says Buhari under fire over plan to register illegal migrants. It's backdoor to populate Nigeria with alien Fulani herdsmen. Presidency, immigration unclear over scheme's target. A Middle Belt Forum, Afenifere warn of conspiracy against citizens. Don't receive bribes from foreigners. Agency cautions staff. You find that on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. All right, let's go to The Nation now. The Nation says Buhari's lawyer shows video to quash Atiku's server claim. And Chair explains why INEC dumped electronic transmission plan. You find all that on the front page of The Nation newspaper. Daily Trust is the next one now. Let's see what it says. Focus on the Northeast heightened insecurity in other parts of the country. That's President Buhari is quoted as saying that. Focus on Northeast heightened insecurity in other parts. Okay. From the Daily Trust, let's go to News Direct now. Obasanjo's comments on insecurity unpatriotic. President Buhari is quoted as saying that. Says security is still my top priority. Senate calls for a national security summit. Okay, you find that on the front page of the News Direct. Blueprint is our last paper now this morning. Security challenges, our critics are unpatriotic. Buhari is saying that. The Senate wants quick action, urges security summit, and act fast, Anyaoku tells the president. Okay, those are some of the papers this morning and what they are saying from different parts of the country. Gentlemen, the reaction on insecurity, really troubling. Okay, one other, the dimension of the way Daily Trust puts it here says, the focus on the Northeast heightened insecurity in other parts. The president is quoted as saying this. I wonder how this headline comes to you, if it is anything to go by. Jide, let me start with you on this.
The focus must be there. The point is, where did it all start? Let's isolate Boko Haram, which can be, fingered as the fountain of this modern recent insurgency in Nigeria. It started in Borno State, in 2002 by Yusuf, who started an ideology that Western education should be forbidden. And he started indoctrinating towards that, and in 2009, it took an escalated form. And I know also that the president himself, when he was commenting on Boko Haram in 2012, said that there were 3 types of Boko Haram: the federal government, the Yusuf Boko Haram, and the criminal elements. And Nigerians rose up, even foreign powers came in to try and see how we could be assisted, particularly during the Chibok girls kidnapping. But the thing just kept spreading.
All right, but would you really agree that the Boko Haram, the way it has always been, Boko Haram, like the government has said, has been decimated? We don't often hear of Boko Haram as much as we used to hear, but we're hearing other things
I
right
have
now.
said it. The president said Boko Haram was technically defeated. But we have the ideological part of it, we have the religious part of it, we have the political part of it, we have the economic part of it.
Okay.
So if you isolate technical, I mean, it's too narrow. Okay, now, if Boko Haram was technically defeated, we are now dealing with banditry, we are dealing with herdsmen, dealing with different forms of migrants coming into our nation from foreign nations, and it's not as if they are bringing value in terms of human capital. Then how can we not conclude that perhaps there was a conspiracy to just open a gate and invade this nation. And right now, all the parts of the country are almost subsumed by insecurity.
All right, let me bring Smart into this. When the government says that we were trying to handle an issue in one part of the country, that was why, you know, we had challenges in other parts of the country. If this headline is anything to go by, I wonder how this resonates.
I am always very careful to react to newspapers, and that is why I spend most of my time listening to news. So when I hear it directly from Mr. President or from that person, I can quote him.
All right.
If Mr. President have said this, it is honestly, sincerely, and very unfortunate statement to have come from the man that I so much love. It is unfortunate that he is saying because of the fact that you are focusing on a child, then other children are suffering. I mean, I want to disbelieve myself that Buhari said this. But if he has said so, it's an unfortunate statement, and I'm very, very sad at that statement. For goodness sake, we have the complete apparatus of security in this country. Why would you say, because of the fact that focus on that aspect of the nation is affecting other parts? No. I have said at various summits, at various fora, that the best we could do for this country, let us have community policing. First, I'm not an advocate of state police because again, that's a topic for another day. But let us focus on this thing. If we have community policing, let us have a synergy of all our security apparatus. In the first place, you will see the state director, you see the national director, the director general of SSS saying something today, and the DG of NIA saying something different. On the same topic, the chief of army staff is saying something different. All the apparatus.
Or national security advisor.
The national security advisor is not even coordinating anything. Do we even know who is the national security advisor now? Is he doing anything? Is the impact felt?
Well, they are working as far as we're concerned.
To solve the security problem of this nation, it's not because we are isolating because we are focusing on one aspect of the nation, but it is because of the fact that perhaps they are doing it deliberately to create insecurity, or perhaps their lack of knowledge. And if their lack of knowledge,
but to
what they could do right now.
To what objective will the government deliberately create?
Because honestly, because to solve the security problem, I've said it is simple. I'll give you a good example. We solved the issue of Bado in Ikorodu because of the fact that we had a concerted effort by everybody. The Obas, the Bales, they all came up. OPC came up. Onyabo came up. The mobile police came up. We didn't even bring in the soldiers. And we've solved the issue of Bado. So if we can do that, and it is because of the fact that I had to call the two Obas concerned. I said, look, these are the things that I think you should do. They said, okay, that they are working on it. The commissioner of police was in Ikorodu several times. They all came together and they solved it. So it is the same method. Let us have it. Let us have a concerted effort. For goodness sake, we solve this issue.
Jide, when it comes to the issue of security, we hear the National Assembly is in support of a national security summit. What impact will this have on the trend of things?
When we set up the ministry, departments, and agencies, did we have the vision that summits will help them to excel? He just mentioned it. We have the Ministry of Defense, we have the Chief of Army Staff, we have the Chief of Naval Staff, Chief of Air Staff. And for goodness sake, quite a number of these apparatus are managed by the Northerners. And their region is the fountain of this crisis.
But should it really matter where
It should matter. He just mentioned something. I was also involved in the days of Bado. We made recommendations to the government, one of which was, hey, the Bale is referred to as the husband of the society. So I doubt if there's a crime going on in the society that the Bale may not have,
ideas on how to go about it.
Bring them together. Let's solve this problem. And we are cautioning when, we are taking these things step by step. Now we are considering registering illegal migrants into Nigeria. When you bring human resources that are criminally minded, then you may not enjoy the benefit of human capital, of the values, the education, the experience, because are we turning Nigeria to a war zone? It's war and industry, this guerrilla warfare we have.
All right.
But then, I hope that for those who are very, very passionate about the greatness of this nation, we know that sovereignty still belongs to the people. And of course, we almost not fold our arms and sleep right now.
Sleep.
And the government has a
we have to, we have to leave it here.
Secure lives and properties.
All right.
And provide for the people.
All right. Jide Ologun, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
And Smart Akpejoye, thank you very much for coming as well.
Thank you.
Right.
Well, it's time to take a look at stories making the headlines in the newspapers, and I have in the studio public affairs analyst Smart Akpejoye, as well as a lawyer and a public affairs analyst Jide Ologun. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on TVC Breakfast.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, we head straight to the papers now, and I start with the Vanguard. State of the nation, insecurity worsening under Buhari. Jonathan Anyaoku save Nigeria from the brink. Anyaoku tells Buhari National Assembly. Declare state of emergency on security now. PDP tells Buhari. Gunmen abduct Zamfara budget director, kill deputy. Those criticizing me are unpatriotic. The president reacting there. And to the front page of The Guardian, Buhari under fire over plan to register illegal migrants. Its back door to populate nation with alien Fulani herdsmen. Presidency, immigration unclear over schemes target. Middlebelt Forum, Afenifere warn on conspiracy against citizens. Don't receive bribes from foreigners, agency cautions staff. And to the front page of the Nation newspaper, Buhari's lawyer shows video to quash Atiku's server claim. Chair explains why INEC dumped electronic transmission plan. I will move to the Daily Trust. Focus on Northeast, heightened insecurity in other parts. President Buhari's statement there. To the front page of News Direct, Obasanjo's comments on insecurity unpatriotic. Buhari says security still my top priority. Senate calls for National Security Summit. And finally, on the front page of Blueprint, security challenges. Our critics are unpatriotic. Buhari. Well, gentlemen, I'd like for us to look at the story on the front page of The Guardian. Buhari under fire over plan to register illegal migrants. Now, the president announced, I think on Friday, that there should be a documentation of migrants, illegal migrants in the country, and there's been reactions, series of reactions. Some persons have said just recently the issue of Ruga hasn't even died down, and then we are having this, that perhaps this is a ploy by the government to, you know, cause some army occupation of or unleash terror on Nigerians. I wonder how this comes to you. I'll start with you, Smart.
Well, I don't know. I think there is a problem in this nation. Of late, instead of us making progress, we are retrogressing.
Really?
Because if you are talking about registering illegal immigrants, or what you're talking about is like you want to have a census of the illegal immigrants.
Perhaps.
Have we had a census, the true census of we Nigerians?
That is in the works.
So you cannot say something is in the work and you're not, something that is important, paramount, is in the work, and something that is less important is now about to commence. I think there is a problem there somewhere. Honestly, looking at the pages of newspapers this morning, I think I should just go back home and sleep, because it's like I've not woken up, because I've not woken up very well. Because I can't imagine that we are talking about a nation we don't even know ourselves. One day in the same summit, a governor said we are 200 million. And somebody said again that we are 180 million. Just on the same summit, sitting on the same table. That means the two governors that are supposed to know, they are giving contradicting figures of the real population of Nigeria. And as far as I'm concerned, I think we don't have an accurate census of we Nigerians. Let us know ourselves first. You're not talking about you want to register illegal immigrants. You want to have a census of the illegal immigrants. Of what good will it do to us? If we know ourselves,
this is a security measure.
In the first place, if we know ourselves, that will help us to plan our economy, our education, our
socio-economic development.
But now, if we have a good nation, if we have a well-policed boundary, as you are coming in, they will know that you are coming in. If you're not going out, they will know that you've not gone out. Just at that desk, we should be able to know the number of
persons.
The number of persons that have entered Nigeria illegally that have not gone out. Of course, as a West African citizen, you can stroll into Nigeria and stroll back in as much as you live within 190 days. That is 6 months. But where you don't even do this, where you don't even have that we have over 1,800 unmanned borders, that is what we are resulting.
Perhaps this is a move by the government to check the activities of those
move
coming in and going out of the country.
It's a useless move and unproductive move.
Or do you share the same views with him?
One of the visions disclosed of this is to fight insecurity, but I think it's counterproductive and it's quite indicting on the government. Many of us have expressed our worries about the influx of foreigners into Nigeria, and not to do good business, but to invade us. And this is just a confirmation. And I recall that when this Ruga project was suspended, we said suspension is not termination. So, and I must give kudos to the strategists who are behind all this. The truth is that these migrants are here. They have taken position.
So you mean
so
that
it's now about integrating them, which becomes more dangerous. Even at the presidential election level, we read this person is not a Nigerian, this person is not a Nigerian. So where is the future of this country? Globally, you have migration issues. In fact, right now in the US, Donald Trump is out to flush some out.
Absolutely.
And we are opening up our borders. And in the UK, for instance, they go shopping for highly skilled migrants that they bring into their society to manage their economies. We are opening our borders to criminals. You see, but then, if you set fire on your neighbor's house, it's a matter of time. It gets to you. When you begin to measure developed countries and undeveloped countries, one of the elements you find in an undeveloped country is a weak human capital. What values with these elements are to Nigeria? Is it this kidnapping, this raping, this destruction and everything? I think this government should be holistic in a way. Why don't you focus on reviving this economy? And one fast way of doing that is to create an enabling environment.
So invariably, the sincerity of purpose on the part of government is being questioned. Why
absolutely.
is that?
In the first place, I don't want to probably say from that perspective that, oh, security of purpose. But I think it's the fact that the government is lack knowledge. Perhaps this government is not working with the right people that should probably...
That's a weighty statement.
No, that's the simple truth. They don't have knowledge, because if the government has knowledge, if they're knowledgeable, they should have known that registering illegal immigrants have nothing, absolutely, to add to our economy. What we should be doing is that let us identify these people and get them out of our society, out of our system. Look, the law in West Africa allows them to come in for just 180 days. That is 6 months. After 6 months, they become illegal. Let them go back. For goodness sake, they're not even helping our society.
Perhaps this will be the beginning.
If only they are helping our society, it would have been good. This is a nation that we have not planned for ourselves. If we have an adequate plan and follow an economic blueprint, Nigeria, we don't have costs going to our American embassy, going to UK embassy to queue for visa.
All right.
We have more than enough resources in this country, for goodness sake.
Gentlemen, we have to leave it at this point. Thank you so much for your contribution on the newspaper review.
What the papers are saying, and I have with me in the studio to do justice to this, Matt Akbejoye, as well as Jide Ologun. They are analysts and commentators to help us look at this. Good morning again, gentlemen.
Good morning, my brother.
Really nice. Okay, let's start from the Vanguard newspaper. That's where we start from this morning. State of the nation, insecurity worsening under Buhari. Jonathan Anyaoku saying this, and save Nigeria from the brink. Anyaoku tells Buhari and National Assembly. Declare state of emergency on security now. PDP tells Buhari. And gunmen abduct Zafara budget director, kill deputy. Those criticizing me are unpatriotic. Buhari is quoted as saying that. Right? The Guardian is where we go next. Buhari under fire over plan to register illegal migrants. Buhari under fire over plan to register illegal migrants. We have this on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. The Nation is where we go next. The Nation newspaper says Buhari's lawyer shows video to quash Atiku's server claim. Chair explains why INEC dumped electronic transmission plan. We have that on the front page of the Nation newspaper. All right. Let's move now to Daily Trust. Daily Trust says focus on Northeast heightened insecurity in other parts. President Buhari is quoted as saying this on the front page of the Daily Trust. News Direct is where we go next. Obasanjo's comments on insecurity unpatriotic. Buhari says so. It says security is still my top priority. And Senate calls for National Security Summit. You have this on the front page of the News Direct. Okay, Blueprint is where we go next. Security challenges, critics are unpatriotic. Buhari is quoted as saying this. That's what the Blueprint has on its front page. Okay, gentlemen, let's look at some of the headlines here. The Senate is calling for a security summit to be held so that the issue of dialogue can be, triggered. If you read the former President Obasanjo's letter, there was also a recommendation as to dialogue and engagement with the people and so on. I wonder how this resonates. Jide, let me start with you.
Summit is an avenue where you come and dialogue and discuss issues. But I'm asking a question this morning. Was there a summit before the Python dance, before the crocodile dance? Was there a summit before the Shite group was engaged? In 2015, was there a summit? We have the commander-in-chief of the armed forces and the executive president of this country whose primary purpose of being in office is the security and welfare of the people. We've had the confab, we've had several dialogues. I think when you look at all the leaders of this country, you can only probably bring out, maybe during the days of Abdul Salami and probably this current regime, that we've not had this summit. Beyond the summit, Nigerians suggest every day how they want to be governed. These issues are clear. The economy, the security, and the anti-corruption. I mean, those were the promises. I mean, they are simplified issues. I think here, it's more about policy implementations and action. I mean, okay, if we are talking about insecurity, let's isolate the headers. In Ghana, Ghana flushed them out. How did Ghana do it? Talking about corruption, fighting corruption. The president of Rwanda was in Nigeria, Kagame, to advise us. He spoke about responsibility, accountability, and how to go about it. You are talking about economy. Singapore template is there for us to implement. Okay, if we don't want to go that far, UAE is there for us to implement. So what exactly, I appreciate those who are calling for summit, maybe out of anxiety, but I think more that we have not implemented what should be implemented.
All right.
And I believe it's personal to me, there is a grand conspiracy that is driving a different agenda from the national development agenda.
We have heard this resonate from a lot of people, but when there is no verifiable fact or evidence, when it comes to the issue of the conspiracy, the agenda that a lot of Nigerians have suspected that exists, there hasn't been any substantiation of some of these. But let's leave it there. Let me come to you, Smart. Whether we call it summit, security summit, or we call it dialogue, or we call it engagement, or whatever, when it comes to how to tackle security issues, you mentioned in one of the analysis that the Ikorodu issue of the Bado was handled. Concerted effort. You use the word concerted effort. Wouldn't that be how to go to handle this
First,
situation?
like I've said, I don't want to believe that. First, I don't believe in any summit. Okay. Because, more especially in the Nigerian context.
Why not?
We've not had any summit that has helped us forward in this country. The confab was a summit. Over 14 billion was spent putting that summit together. We never had a report. We never had a way through. The Obasanjo had his own, had an national conference. You see, no summit has helped us in this country. How do we move forward as a nation? More especially solving this emergency issue of insecurity. First, if I were Mr. President, I'll first of all say, look, because there is this pointer towards these herdsmen, I will stop the drift, I will stop the nomadic way of cattle breeding. Now, I will give 90 days, all the cattle return back to your base For goodness sake, can I tell you something? It is not only the Fulani that breed cattle. We have Yoruba people that breed cattle. We have Igbo people that breed cattle. It's just that they are in the minute population. But however, let everybody take their cattle back to your base. And in their base, give them an enabling environment
but
to thrive.
Wouldn't that be a long-term?
No, let me tell you, that is a short term. That is a short term. Number one, return them back to their base, give them this thing, because what we are looking at is water and food. They can do that. Number one, when we saw as we are giving that, on the other of this thing, going further again, let us use the Ikorodu template again. I want to go back to that again. Let us first go back to our local government, go back to our ballets. We have village heads, we have district heads, we have ballets in the west. We have what is it called? We have CDAs. That's community development associations. Let us bring all these people together and say.
But smart, when you talk about bringing up an order to tell herdsmen to go on nomadic, those who are rearing cattle to go back to their base, wouldn't that, because there are thin lines between such policies and infringing on the fundamental rights of these people who are Nigerians to move anywhere they want?
In the first place, what we have always said is that, and when you look at it, nomadic way of cattle rearing should have been dumped in the ages past. At this present 21st century, nomadic way of cattle rearing is wrong. For goodness sake, you will not maximize even the benefits inherent in it. There are so many benefits that are inherent in cattle. You will get milk, you will get so many things.
The former minister of Agriculture,
Audu said something. So
that the Nigerian cow is the most malnourished in the world.
Look, it's even not healthy to the herdsman himself. Moving cattle from Kafansha to Ikorodu just for grazing, maybe it will take you 6 months or 5 months. You will now move them back again, and you say on the road that person will not rape. I don't know what you want that person not to do. I don't know.
That's your opinion anyway.
So I don't know.
But Jide, if we have to actually look for a way out of this, what would you be looking at? Because when analysts sit down, when Nigerians sit down, it seems everyone has a solution to all of these problems.
I think we should look out for sincerity.
Okay.
I personally do not believe this is all about business.
Okay.
There has been cattle rearing in Nigeria as far back as we know. As we speak now, there are cows in Lagos by Kara, and people are not being killed in that market. I think there is a grand conspiracy, a different agenda. And I don't want us to migrate from the warning of General Theophilus Danjuma, alleging an agenda of ethnic cleansing. And if you look at how things are unfolding, I suspect that those who are even supposed to secure us are interested in the insecurity. Well, and that is a very dangerous development.
To what objective will there be issue of ethnic cleansing?
Maybe they may answer that question. Let me warn us.
I'm not in support of that.
I monitor content analysis and everything. At a time, my president, whom I respect so much, said that these clashes, in quote, have historical colorations. And we need to pay attention to that. Because what I can say is that our national integration is crumbling. I have said it before. We have about 250 ethnic groups and languages in Nigeria that cascaded into about 3 major ethnic groups of the Yoruba, the Igbos, and the Hausas. Now the Fulani incursion is coming. That is a threat to even all the other prominent tribes. I don't think it's about business. If it's about business, the president himself has a ranch.
Yeah, but the point there is the use of this Fulani continually. I think it is degenerating into a level where a certain.
Are we denying it? Are they denying it?
Profiled. No, but the point there is.
Let's face the reality.
When we have
if
we have herdsmen or 1 or 2 persons who have done something and they are Fulanese, we can't profile. It's not enough to profile.
It's not even the herdsmen. Do you know what was happening? The herdsmen have their own security apparatus that go with them in their pastoral business as they go from one community to the other. Those ones can go in vehicles and things like that. Perhaps those are the people who have been armed. Because why? Okay, those who are killed, when you set a farm on fire, will the grass not be consumed? What is the link between that and feeding cows? So I think if we must be sincere, this regime must ask a question. what legacy are we leaving? Because this won't go forever.
All right.
This country must be secured again.
All right. Sincerity, certainly, that's what you... And what would you say? Engagement.
Look,
As we round off now.
concerted effort to solve this security problem. And in concerted effort, let us take it to... Let's just go and start from the grassroots. The local government.
All right.
Let us go and start. District head, battles, village heads, CDAs associations, the local vigilantes, the police, the SSS. If we do this, if we engage all this at the various local government level, the issue of security will be tackled and will be tackled once and for all.
Okay. Smart Akpejoye, thank you so much for coming on the program. Jide Ologun, thank you very much.
God bless
Thank
Nigeria.
You. Right.